بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله على ما أنعم وله الشكر على ما أنهم والثناء بما قدم وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله كلمة جعل الإخلاص تأويلها والصلاة والسلام على صاحب الوقار والسكينة المدفون بأرض مدينة أبي القاسم محمد وعلى آل رسوله المختار الأبرار والأتحار الذين كلامهم نور وأمرهم رشد ووصيتهم التقوى وفعلهم الخير وعادتهم الإحسان وسجيتهم الكرم صلى الله عليك يا رسول الله وعلى بنتك المظلومة المغصوبة صلى الله عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك ما خاب من تمسك بكم أمن من لجأ إليكم يا ليتنا كنا معكم فنفوز فوزا عظيما. قال الإمام الصادق صلوات الله وسلامه عليه: اللهم إني أسألك بفاطمة وأبيها وبعلها وبنيها والسر المستودع فيها. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. From Imam al-Sadiq salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi, we have this very interesting hadith where the Imam mentions to us how we should ask the best from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Imam al-Sadiq salamullah alayhi says, when you want to ask the best, tastakhir wa yastakhir min Allah ta'ala. You want to ask the best from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you want to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for guidance and hidayah. Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq says you should ask for the guidance and ask for your wishes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this way. He says any mu'min should say, Allahumma inni as'aluka bifatimata wa abiha wa ba'liha wa baniha wa sirr al-mustawda'i fiha. That, Ya Allah, I ask you for the sake of Fatimah al-Zahra and her father Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, and her husband Amirul Mu'mineen, and her children, and the secret that has been kept within her. And as we know, this dua, this very short dua, has been said to be very effective, and many of the ulama and many of the maraji would tell their students and would tell other people that if they were in severe difficulty, they should mention this dua with the sake of this lady of light, salamullahi alayha. The question, however, when ulama look at this beautiful dua and beautiful hadith from the Imam, is that yes, Allahumma inni as'aluka bi Fatimata, I ask you for the sake of this lady, وأبيها, yes, the Prophet of Islam. وبعلها, yes, أمير المؤمنين سلام الله عليه. وبنيها, her progeny, the أئمة سلام الله عليهم, from her progeny. But then they say, what is the meaning of والسر المستودع فيها, and the secret that has been kept and given to her? What is the meaning of us doing dua by the sake of this secret, and what is this secret? Some ulama, for example, mention that the secret here in this hadith, in this dua, is referring to, for example, the ilm of Fatimah al-Zahra. Because as we know, after the Prophet of Islam sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi passes away, اشتدت حزن of Zahra salamullahi alayha. Her grief was increased. When this grief of hers was increased to such a level, Jibreel would descend, and Jibreel would descend and tell her the knowledge of the unseen until the day of Qiyamah. And Amirul Mu'mineen salamullahi alayhi ja'ala yaktub kulla ma sami'ah. Whatever he heard, whatever Zahra would narrate to him, he would start writing down, and this became compiled as Mushafu Fatima salamullahi alayha. So some say this knowledge that she was given about the end of times and everything that will take place until the day of judgment, this is what is mentioned by the secret within her. Others said no, the secret within her, the secret given to her, refers to the hadith lawlak, hadith Qudsi, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, lawlak ya Muhammad lama khalaqtul أفلاك ولولا علي لما خلقتك ولولا فاطمة لما خلقتكما. That if it wasn't for you, O Muhammad, I wouldn't have created this universe. And if it wasn't for Ali ibn Abi Talib, I wouldn't have created you. And if it wasn't for Fatima Zahra, I wouldn't have created both of you. So this is the secret that has been kept within her, that she is this chain that has led to the creation of this universe. Another group of scholars said no, as-sirrul mustawda' fiha refers to the wilaya, because the wilaya has been transported from the Prophet of Islam to the A'imma by who? By Fatimah Zahra salamullahi alayha. It is because of her that this wilaya then goes to each and every one of the A'imma. Different ideas were given to what this secret kept within this lady of light actually is. Some said, for example, Amr of Fatimah Zahra, or Umur of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, the affairs of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam in ahadith are said to be secret and cannot be understood by the public. One very interesting opinion, and you can find a beautiful book which talks about different aspects of her life, is called Asrarul Fatimiya by Muhammad Mas'udi, if the name is correct, by Mas'udi. Here he mentions beautifully different articles about her life, and he mentions 10-15 pages about Sirrul Mustawda in detail, about what different opinions are present about what this secret is. One opinion he mentions about the secret place within her through which we do this dua is that as-sirrul mustawda' fiha is none other than Sahibul Asri wal Zaman salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi. Now primarily, some ulama had a problem with this. Allahumma inni as'aluka bi Fatima wa abiha wa ba'liha wa baniha wa sirrul mustawda. If sirrul mustawda refers to Sahibul Asri wal Zaman, is he not also in wa baniha, in her children? So why then repeat it twice? Sirrul Mustawda has to be different from Baniha. No. Some scholars said the reason why we call Imam Mahdi this hidden secret within her is that yes, he is part from the children, but for emphasis, he has also mentioned separately within this dua. And so many ulama believe that the secret kept within Fatimah al-Zahra is her grandson, Sahibul Asri wal Zaman salamullah alayhi. And this therefore is our discussion tonight, that there is a very interesting link between these two individuals, Fatimah Zahra salamullah alayha and Sahibul Asr and Imam Zaman. Both of them have certain qualities that are similar and they complete one another. In order to have this discussion inshallah today, I have chosen the center of the discussion a very interesting hadith from Jabir ibn Abdullah al-Ansari rahmatullahi alayhi. Jabir ibn Abdullah al-Ansari, we are told, was born 15 years before Hijrah. He passes away in the 78th year after Hijrah. Jabir bin Abdullah al-Ansari is important for a variety of different reasons, whether it be, for example, Jabir bin Abdullah al-Ansari is one of the narrators of Hadith al-Kisa. Jabir bin Abdullah al-Ansari is the reason why we have that hadith where each and every single one of the A'imma is mentioned. When he is told by the Prophet of Islam, you will meet my grandson, Imam Muhammad Baqir, and he mentions all of the names. Jabir bin Abdullah al-Ansari is also important because when he lives in Medina, he takes part in something called the Aqaba Pledge. And the Aqaba pledge is the reason why Islam spreads to Medina and all or majority of the Medinans become Muslim. Jabir bin Abdullah al-Ansari is this individual. Jabir bin Abdullah al-Ansari, the great companion, the revered companion, that person for whom majority of ulama believe was the first Za'ir of Aba Abdullah Salamullah alayhi. Jabir bin Abdullah al-Ansari enters into the mosque. I just mentioned here that Jabir bin Abdullah is said to be the first Za'ir of Imam Hoseine. Do you know why? It makes sense, doesn't it, that the first Za'ir is her Madhloom sister, Zainab al-Kubra. Why is Jabir the first? It should be that Zainab al-Kubra, Salamullahi alayha, is the first. Why is Jabir ibn Abdullah the first? Ulama mention a beautiful reason. Ulama say there are certain groups of people that will take what a companion does as hujjah over them and their rulings. So Jabir bin Abdullah was a companion who visited Imam Hussein salamullahi alayhi. So no one could say then that you should not visit Abu Abdullah. Because he is a companion. If you follow the companions, you should also visit Abu Abdullah Hussein. Jabir bin Abdullah al-Ansari enters into the masjid just before the time of Fajr. So it is the time of the nafilah of Fajr. Amirul Mu'mineen Salamullah alayhi is leading the prayers, about to lead the prayers. So Jabir bin Abdullah, he is a personality that is well known. Jabir bin Abdullah is pious. Jabir is well known. He has a lot of ilm and knowledge. So as he is coming in from the back, people make way for him. That go right at the front. If you want to pray, pray behind Amirul Mu'mineen. We know your status. You are a very revered individual. So he goes through the first row and the second row and the third row and the fourth row until he gets to the first row of the salah. And he goes even forward. People are looking, Jabir should be praying behind Amir al-Mu'mineen. Why is he going right to the front? Jabir bin Abdullah goes right to Amir al-Mu'mineen. He says, Ya Abul Hasan, I have seen a dream. I want you to interpret this dream for me now. The dream is so important. The dream is so amazing. I want you to interpret this dream for me at this moment. And then he mentions the dream. Before we go on to mention the dream, dreams and dreaming is something that Ahlul Bayt alayhim wasalam have told us about. For example, we are told that there was a prophet of God. This prophet of God told his people that when you die, when you pass away, there will be akhirah. At this point in time in history, no one would dream. There was no such thing as dreaming. He said, when you pass away, there will be something called the akhirah, and you will go to the metaphysical realm. They laughed at him. They said, when we are buried 8 feet under the ground, how can there be anything afterwards? I've seen the body go down. How can there be anything afterwards? How can you tell me that after this world, there is another world, metaphysical world? This doesn't make sense. So this prophet, he asks Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says, Ya Allah, help me to explain to these people that there is something called akhirah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then created this concept of dreaming, according to Imam al-Sadiq, salamullah alayhi. Then when they went to sleep that night, they saw something called dreams. What is a dream? We have two types of eyes. The first type of eye is this physical eye that is seeing this physical world. The second type of eye is the eye of the heart, which can see the metaphysical. Because our souls are weak, it is required for these eyes to close so these eyes can open. When you dream, your soul is seeing these different realities. Your soul is visiting certain places. Because our soul is weak, these eyes have to close for these eyes to be open. If the soul is strong, these eyes will be open, as will the eye of the soul. Which is why the Prophet of Islam says, when I look in front of me, I'm also looking behind me. In other words, when I'm looking at the physical world, I can also see the barzakh world. When they were dreaming, they realized that there is a world other than this physical world, and this is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created dreaming. According to Ahlul Bayt alayhim wasalam and the traditions of Ahlul Bayt, dreams are of four types. There was a scholar, Tarablusi, who has a book, Kanzul Fawaid. He is a student of Shaykh Mufid. Tarablusi in this book, quoting his teacher Shaykh Mufid, says that there are four types of dreams. Al-awwal al-i'tibar. Al-thani basharatun min Allah. Al-thalith la'bu al-shaytan. Al-rabi' adghath ahlam. So there's four types of dream. The first type of dream, al-i'tibar, is when I go to sleep, my soul has certain desires. There are certain things that my soul is thinking about. When I talk about aql, aql is not here. Aql is part of the soul. Sometimes when I sleep, whatever is in my soul will be expressed in a dream. This is called al-i'tibar. For example, I have stress about a certain thing. This is affecting my soul. I have a certain deadline. I have a certain thing to do. When I go to sleep, the soul will express this stress in a dream. This is called al-i'tibar. The second type of dream is called basharatun min Allah, the true dream. The type of dream that Nabi Yusuf had seen. The type of dream that, for example, Nabi Ibrahim had seen. True dreams where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is communicating a certain thing. The third type of dream, la'bu shaitan, is when shaitan plays with your mind. Shaitan, for example, causes you to have a nightmare. Shaitan, for example, causes you to see something haram. The Prophet of Islam has said, لا تحدث بلعب الشيطان بك. If you see a type of dream where shaitan is playing with your mind, a nightmare, for example, I'm doing something haram, something bad has happened in the dream, I should not tell this dream to other individuals. And ulama stress on this. If I see a dream which is negative, I should not tell others. And I should not ask others to interpret it unless I know this person knows interpretation. The fourth type of dream, adghath ahlam, is the majority of our dreams. The majority of our dreams, I go to sleep. I, for example, ate something. Because I ate that certain thing, I saw a random dream. I'm sitting here right now. When I go to sleep, I'll see myself sitting here. Majority of our dreams are in this way. They have no meaning and they are pictures from different parts of our mind. Jabir bin Abdullah, he comes to Amir al-Mu'mineen. He says, Ya Abul Hasan, I have seen a dream where I have seen 7 different things. I want you to explain this dream to me. What were those 7 different things and how do they relate to our topic? He says, Ya Abul Hasan, the first thing I saw is that there was a beautiful piece of cloth. At that time, velvet, silk, beautiful piece of cloth. At that time, such cloth was worth more than gold and silver. It doesn't make sense to us right now, but at the time that this took place, cloth was worth more than gold and silver. He says, I saw a beautiful piece of cloth. And I heard a voice saying, come and take all of this cloth. Take this cloth. People came running. They had scissors in their hands. They would take a piece. They would take one piece from there. They would take another piece from there. And they would go away. As I was seeing this, again, I see something else in the dream. So it's like a photo album. I see one thing, I see another thing. So the second thing I saw is that there are beautiful golden cages that you keep, for example, parrots and birds in. From far away I saw them. And I saw that there was a beautiful sound coming from these cages of the birds tweeting. Beautiful cages. I went close towards these cages and I saw that they are completely empty. Again, like that, the dream changed. When the dream changed, this time I saw that there's a beautiful swimming pool with beautiful tiles. From far away I can see it. Beautiful swimming pool. And I go towards it and I want to see the beautiful water. It's very beautiful, the way it's made, the architecture. I get towards the swimming pool and I look inside and I see that the pool has been made very beautifully. There's no maintenance. There's rubbish in there. There's no water. It's very dirty. As I saw this, straight away again I saw something else. So the part of the dream changed. This time I saw myself in a farm. There were 2 sets of cows. Half of the cows were those very healthy cows with very strong udders filled with milk. The other half of the cows were very weak, lean cows with very little milk in their udders. People came into this field, into this farm to milk the cows. Instead of going to the cow which has a lot of milk, they went to the cows which were weak and lean and barely had any milk in their udders. I saw this straight away again, the dream changed. The 5th thing I saw was that there are people that are unwell. They are in hospital. They are getting up and visiting people who are healthy. So there are people that are unwell, they are bedridden. I saw in my dream, they were standing up and they were going towards people and visiting the people that were healthy. I'm looking at this, straight away the picture changes. This time I see again there's a field. In this field I see that there is a cow or a goat. It has 2 heads. This cow with its 2 heads is eating as much grass as it can. It eats. Its stomach is not filled. I'm thinking, how big is the stomach of this cow? How much is it eating? It has 2 heads, 2 mouths. It's eating so much. As I was seeing this, straight away the dream changed, the picture changed. And now I saw that there's an individual, the last thing he sees. I saw an individual. He is standing in between 2 pools, swimming pools. Lakes filled with water. The first one is made of gold. The second one is made of copper. He is taking the water from the one in the copper and is putting it into the one with gold. Again, from the one in copper into the one with gold. And he is doing this very quickly. And I began to think, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, how much water is in the one with copper that he is putting the water in and it is not emptying? And how big is the one with gold? As much water he puts in it is still not full. He says, these are the 7 things I had seen. Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, what does this mean? Amir al-Mu'mineen, salamullahi alayhi, says, Ya Jabir, you have not just seen a dream. You have seen the situation of Akhir al-Zaman. And O Jabir, when these 7 things take place, know that my son Mehdi will arrive very soon after that. And then Amir al-Mu'mineen explains these things, and inshallah we'll explain these tonight as to what these 7 things are. But before that, please recite aloud salawat. Amir al-Mu'mineen salamullah alayhi says, the first thing you had seen is that there was a piece of cloth, very beautiful piece of cloth that was dangling. Velvet, very expensive. And suddenly a call was heard, take as much as you want, take all of this cloth. And people came and someone took, for example, a small snippet from here, someone took another snippet from here. People took a bit that they wanted. Oh Jabir, this refers to the state of Islam in Akhir al-Zaman. That in Akhir al-Zaman, in the final time, Akhir al-Zaman refers to the time just before the reappearance. He says, in Akhir al-Zaman, that velvet cloth represented Islam. People will take Islam, this is Islam for you. People will come, Islam is there ready for them. They will take the part of Islam that they like, they will leave the rest of Islam. In other words, I look at Islam, I see what do I like about this religion, I take that. What I don't like about the religion, I put that away. Have we not seen this? That I like certain things. I will tweet about certain things I like. But my next tweet will be directly opposite to what Islam teaches. My next post on whatever is directly opposite to what Islam has told me. This cloth refers to Islam. We were told, take this cloth, take Islam. All of Islam is there for you to take. They took bits that they wanted to take. Shaitan, we are told, Shaitan, when he was told to do sajda, Shaitan says, Ya Allah. Look, typical response of someone who is like Shaitan. Typical response. Typical response of someone who thinks he is a believer. Na'udhu billah. May Allah protect us all, inshallah. Shaitan says, you have told me to do sajda towards Adam. Ya Allah, keep me away from this. I will do something for you that no one else can do. This is a typical response. I don't want to do this, what you have ordered. I'll do something much better, Ya Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, you should only do what I have told you. I don't have any desire for what you want to do yourself. In other words, when I say, Ya Allah, you have given me all of this sharia, you have given me this religion, and I pick and choose. I'm trying to tell Allah, Ya Allah, you did not know how to make sharia, you did not know how to make religion. I will show you what is true sharia, I will show you what is true religion. Ya Allah, you didn't know what you said, Hajj is wajib. No, Ya Allah, you didn't understand. I want to take this away. In Akhir al-Zaman, Amir al-Mu'mineen says, one of the signs that after this happens, straight away my son will come, is that they will pick and choose from where they want about the religion of Islam. He says, the second thing you had seen 2 beautiful bird cages from afar. Very beautiful, gold. And you could hear beautiful chirping of the birds from this cage. And when you got close, you saw that they were completely empty. Ya Jabir, this will be the state of people in Akhir al-Zaman, when they say, for example, that they are trustworthy and you can give them amana, it will look very beautiful. They will say many things, I am trustworthy, you can trust me. When you go towards them and you give them something to keep as safekeeping, they will be completely empty. In other words, they will claim they are trustworthy, the zahir will be very beautiful. When you actually test them out, it will be completely empty. And trust keeping is not just about wealth. Amir al-Mu'mineen is saying, Akhir al-Zaman, people will say, yes, give me your money, give me your wealth, keep trust in me. Trust is not just about wealth. Trust is also about secrets, for example. Someone has given you their secrets to keep this. Those that go against this is a sign of what? Of Akhir al-Zaman. They say, Rasulullah Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, he was told by a person, I will meet you, Ya Rasulullah, at this spot. So the Prophet of Islam says, I'll meet you here. The next day, The next day when the Prophet of Islam arrives at that spot, right in the scorching heat, right under the sun, the person is not there. 10 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour. Ya Rasulullah, you are still waiting, at least wait in the shade. Do you know what Rasulullah had said? The Prophet of Islam had said, he said, no, I had told that person I will meet him here, not in the shade. If I meet that person in the shade, I have gone against this promise of mine. I have told him I'll meet him here at this point, I'll meet him at this point. Whether the sun burns the skin of mine or not. The second thing that Amir al-Mu'mineen mentions, that after this, my Mahdi will come, is amana. People will say, trust me, I'm a trustworthy individual. When you test that person out, it will be completely empty. He said, the third thing you had seen a beautiful swimming pool with beautiful tiles, beautiful architecture from afar. You had gone close toward it. When you went close towards it, you saw it was completely empty. There was no water within it, and there was rubbish in this. So it was not maintained at all. There was rubbish in the swimming pool. He says, Ya Jabir, in Akhir zaman, this refers to the state of some individuals that call themselves ulama, scholars. That call, not the true scholars, that call themselves ulama, that they will look very beautiful. They will have very beautiful libas, very beautiful clothing. From afar, they will look very beautiful. When you come close and you inspect them, you find nothing but the rubbish of disobedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in them. You find nothing but the rubbish of, for example, the world and dunya within them. That pool was very beautiful from far away. There will be people that call themselves ulama in Akhir zaman that will look very beautiful, have beautiful faces, have beautiful voice, have beautiful titles. When you get close and inspect them, Ya Jabir, they will be empty. They will have nothing but rubbish. Nothing but rubbish, meaning what? The rubbish of character. He says, when you see this, know that my Mahdi will come straight away. And this is one of the most important points. When we say that Imam Mahdi is Sirrul Mustawda', the secret hidden within her, and we have said that these two are connected, Fatimatu Zahra and Sahibul Asri wa Zaman. In Akhir zaman, we are told we will be tested by people that call themselves scholars, that call themselves people of religion. Inside there's nothing but dirt and rubbish. The Prophet of Islam had said there are two groups of people. If these two groups of people are led astray, all of the community is led astray. If they are led on the right path, all of the community will be on the right path. They said, who ya Rasulullah? He said, the kings, the rulers, if they are led astray, everyone will lead astray. An-nas ala dini mulukihim. The second are the ulama. If the scholars are led astray, all of the other people of that community will be led astray. In other words, we are being told by this hadith, one of the trials of individuals, whether we take this as Akhir zaman or not is not important. One of the trials during the intidhar of Imam Mahdi are people that will direct us in ways that we should not have been directed, because we have not understood who the true ulama actually are. Ahadith tell us, what is the sign of ilm? Clothing? Title? No. Al-ilmu ma'al-hilm. This is the sign of ilm. If you want to know who has ilm, al-ilmu ma'al-hilm. Knowledge comes with forbearance. What is hilm? Hilm is that you come in front of a person, you insult him. He does not react. Hilm is someone who has patience and sabr. Hilm is someone who has no arrogance within him. When you find these qualities in an individual, understand that knowledge will be with that individual. I mean, when he's saying to Jabir, a time will come, people will direct people in the wrong way. This is what is meant by Akhir zaman. When, for example, we are told Dajjal will come and there will be 70 Dajjal, there will be ulama that will direct us, so-called ulama, people that we think are ulama, that will direct us towards this Dajjal. That will tell us this is Sahibul Asri wa Zaman. A beautiful example was given by some of the ulama. They said there was someone who worked for an individual who had a shop selling different things, perfume and oil and these different things. This person didn't realize, but a few days before he had certain problem with his eyes. So when he would look at certain things, it would be one thing, he would see double. He says one day in the shop, the owner says, go to the cellar upstairs, there will be a bottle of oil. This individual, this customer, he wants this person, he wants this bottle of oil. He says, I went up all the way to the cellar to get the oil. And I looked. And I saw that there are 2 bottles of oil. He said, there's only 1 bottle of oil in the cellar. I saw that there are how many? 2. So I came back down. I said, no, there are 2. Which one do you want me to bring? There's 2 there. He says, no, I've only put 1. Check again. So I went back up to the down to the cellar. Again, I saw that there are 2 bottles of oil. I went back, I said, look, there are 2 bottles of oil, not 1. Which one do you want me to bring? He says, go again. I have this morning only placed 1 bottle of oil there. So again, he says, I went there. When I went there, again, I saw 2. What's going on? So I came back, I said, look, I promise you, I have seen 2 bottles. So he gave him a bat. He said, break the other one, bring me one of them. He knows I've put 1 there. He says, break the other one. Whichever one you are imagining, bring me the other one. So he says, I went there. I broke one of them. When I broke one of them, the other one disappeared. He didn't realize that he is seeing double. I came back, I said, this happened. He says, do you not understand? You have a problem with your eyes, which is why you are confused between the 2. Have we realized how this relates directly to Sahib al-Asri wa Zaman? When I say people will deviate us, why? They will say, this is Sahib al-Asri wa Zaman. We will not realize that the eyes, in other words, the heart may be corrupt. If the heart is corrupt, one person will say, this is Sahib al-Asri wa Zaman, I will see 2. I will think, no, is this Sahib al-Asr or is this Sahib al-Asr? Is this Imam al-Hujjah or is this Imam al-Hujjah? Until I will break relation from the real Imam, and both will disappear. The ulama, those that are true ulama, they will do nothing but guide you to Sahib al-Asr. The true ulama, the maraja, are representatives of Imam Zaman. But those people, as the dream of Jabir says, like the beautiful swimming pool. It is beautiful from far away. When you look close, there is nothing but rubbish. They are the ones that will tell you, no, this is Sahib al-Asr. Like that individual, if you have not checked your eyes, you will be deceived and you will lose Imam Zaman as well. Check the eyes of your heart to see, do I have certain vices within this heart? When I clear these vices, then I will be able to tell the difference between someone who is true alim, who is a person with true akhlaq, and someone who just dresses or calls himself a scholar. Amirul Mu'mineen says, after that you had seen that those people that are unwell are visiting the people that are well. Normally it is the people that are healthy that visit the people that are unhealthy, that are unwell, that are sick. He says this referred to, before that there was the group of cows. He said you had seen 2 groups of cows. You had seen people come in, one group of cow, they had a lot of milk in their udder, they were very healthy. The others were very lean, very weak. The people, instead of taking milk from the healthy cows, took them from where? The unhealthy, the weak cows. He says this refers to the state of the governments at the time of Akhir al-Zaman. That in Akhir al-Zaman, they will attack financially, they will tax the poor, and the rich will be left to become richer. In Akhir al-Zaman, the poor will be taxed. There will be more sanctions on the poor. More money will be taken from the poor from these governments, whereas the rich will be left to have their money to be healthy. The other thing you had seen, Ya Jabir, in your dream is that you had seen those that are unwell are visiting those that are healthy. This also refers to the state of the community. In the community, there will be people that are poor, that don't have wealth, the unhealthy in this dream, and those that have wealth, those that are very wealthy in this dream, those that are healthy. It should be, and it is the responsibility that those who have money, those who have been given wealth, those who have been blessed by wealth by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is an amana. Allah has given you wealth. This is an amana from Allah that you have to give this and make sure it reaches those individuals that don't have this wealth. If Allah has given me wealth, it doesn't mean all of it is mine. If Allah has given me wealth, part of this wealth has been given to me by Allah with the condition that I give it to those that require it. Amirul Mu'mineen says, Ya Jabir, in the end of times, it should be that the rich, those that have wealth, those that are well off, help those that are poor themselves, but it will be the opposite. That those that are poor have to go to the rich to actually gain money from them. Those that were unwell had to visit those that were well. Those that are poor, those that are needy, those that are min al-fuqara have to go and visit and stretch their hands out in front of who? In front of those who have wealth. He says, then you had seen that there is a cow with 2 heads. This cow was eating as much grass as it could eat, and the stomach was not full. It ate. The stomach was not full. So you know what this was? This was the state of people who were earning money in Akhir al-Zaman. 2 heads why? 2 mouths why? One was halal, the other was haram. But for them it made no difference. We will gain money, we will eat, in this example, from the mouth which is halal, we will eat from the mouth which is haram. And they would eat and eat and eat, and they would not be satisfied. In other words, there will be people in Akhir al-Zaman, they will gain money from whichever means they can, and no matter how much money they gain, they will still want more and more and more, and hoard as much money as possible. When you see these signs, know that my son Sahib al-Asr will appear straight after this. We don't understand that Sahib al-Asr was Zaman. The money that comes into me directly affects my relationship with Imam Hujjah. The money that I earn, the food that is on my table. Because for example, if 20% of my earnings is from haram, 80% is from halal, I eat food with that money. 20% of my food is what? Haram. The energy I get, therefore, 20% of the energy that I get from that food is haram energy. I do things with that energy. I work with that energy. All of these things then build up. One morsel of food, which is a morsel of haram food, distances myself very far from Sahib al-Asr. Very far. There's a story often narrated by one of the scholars. He says that there was a certain person who lived in Karbala. This person had a wish to meet Sahib al-Asr wal Zaman, Imam al-Hujjah, salawatullah wa salamu alayhi. And he realized that only a clear heart can see Imam al-Hujjah. If someone has a heart filled with impurity, of course it is impossible. So this individual says, I began training myself spiritually. I began doing spiritual practices. I realized that until my heart is clean, I won't be able to see Sahib al-Asr wal Zaman. So I did many practices as much as I could, many a'mal, I fasted, I had tasbih. All of the dhikr and adhkar I could do, I did all of these things. I did all of these things, there was no effect. I hadn't seen the Holy Imam, there was no effect. I realized that the spiritual path is a very difficult path. 30, 40, 50 years of your life will go in this path until you gain certain benefit, without exaggeration. 20, 30 years will go without seeing any benefit. He said, I stuck to this path because I had love for Imam al-Hujjah. I wanted to see him. I did as much as I could. I would go to Sahla, for example. I would fast every other day. Whatever I could, I would do. Whatever I read in a book, I would stick to. After some time, I had not seen the Imam, but I reached a certain higher level in spirituality, certain higher level. When I reached this high level, I would see certain visions in my dream. One day I dreamt that Imam al-Hujjah is in a certain city. He told me, I am here, you want to see me? You have been wanting to see me for 10 years, I'm in this city, come in this city. So when I woke up from the dream, I realized that some of the spiritual practices I have done have had some benefit. So I went. When I went to the city, there was a bed and breakfast, I stayed there. Again I slept, again I saw a dream. Imam Zaman says, oh individual, oh person that wanted to see me, I am in this certain shop right now. Come and see me. My eyes opened. I got up. This is a call from Imam. I went out. I ran. I said to myself, for 10 years, however many years I have been waiting for this. This is the time I get to see that grandson of the Prophet of Islam. Imagine. The Imam of my time, I get to see him. So I entered into the shop that the Imam had indicated. When I entered, I saw that there are 3 people in this shop. The first was a locksmith, was the owner, the locksmith. The second was an elderly woman. The third was the Imam. As soon as I had entered, the Imam said, stand there and look what is going on. So I stood to the side. And I saw that this woman, this elderly woman, is talking to the locksmith. She had a padlock in her hand. She says, will you buy this for me for, now the currency was Abbasi that they have. Will you buy this for me for, let's say, £4? So the locksmith said, why would I do that? She says, what do you mean? She said, it's worth £8. Why would I give you that less? £4 is not correct. She says, what are you talking about? Just outside on the road in the market, they weren't even willing to offer me £3 for this padlock. He said, no, it's worth £8. I want to gain a profit. I will give it to you for £7. So I can gain £1 profit. Is this acceptable? She says, what do you mean is this acceptable? I was going to get 3 here, you're giving me 7? Of course I'll accept it. So she gives him the padlock, he gives her £7 and she goes. Imam Zaman now turns to that individual. What did I say in the dream of Jabir bin Abdullah? 2 heads, eating from halal, eating from haram. Imam Mehdi Sahibul Asri was Zaman tells that individual, you don't have to do all of these spiritual practices, all of these riyadat just to see me. Be like this individual and have insaf and justice in your dealings and gain money from a halal way. I myself will come and see you. In your money that you gain, have halal means, have insaf and justice. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to come and see me. I myself will come and visit you. The 6th thing that Jabir bin Abdullah had seen, that when people are gaining as much money as they can gain from halal and haram and they are not satisfied, this is one of the signs of Akhirul Zaman. This is the last thing I had seen. This is a very important thing for us today. The last thing I had seen was that there were 2 swimming pools. One was made of copper with water inside. The other was made of gold with water inside, and there was a person sitting. As fast as you could imagine, he was filling water from the one of copper, putting it into the one with gold. Filling water from the one in copper, putting it into the one with gold. Filling water from the one with copper as quickly as he could. And I was thinking, how much water is in the one with copper? It is not empty. And how big is the one with gold? It is not full. Amir al-Mu'mineen says, when you see this sign, understand straight after this, immediately after, my son will rise. Said, Ya Abul Hasan, what is this? He said, that person in the middle was Malakul Maut, the angel of death. The water in the copper is the dunya. The water in the gold pool is the akhirah. So many people will be killed during Akhirul Zaman that after this it is necessary for Sahibul Asri wal Zaman to reappear. They say in the world the greatest number of people that have been killed is 25%. When there were 4 individuals. Qabil kills Habil, 25% of the world was wiped out. Ahadith say that after that 25%, the most will be during Akhir Zaman, where according to some narrations, 30% of this global population will be killed mercilessly. When this level of oppression takes place on this earth, it becomes lazim and necessary for that grandson of Rasulullah to reappear and bring justice onto this earth. Have we not seen a start of this? Now, here is a disclaimer. When we mention the signs, they could happen again and again and again. People that, for example, say Imam will come in 5 years, they have been rejected in ahadith. That reject these people that say, for example, Imam will come in 5 years. We are seeing certain signs. These could come again and again. Every 10 years, these signs could be repeated. Every 100 years, these signs could be repeated. But we have seen this quality starting already. That today, the cheapest of blood has become the blood of who? The blood of a Muslim. The cheapest of blood has become the blood of a Shia Muslim in particular. The cheapest of blood. But people have not realized that yes, even though you may deem this blood of ours to be cheap, this blood of ours has been scented by a perfume and a fragrance like no other scent. This blood of ours which you deem to be worthless, which you deem to be very cheap, which you deem to be very unimportant, has been fragranced with the scent of love of Ahlul Bayt alayhim wassalam. And the odor of your impure ideology can never remove the scent of love of Ahlul Bayt alayhim wassalam from us. Because when an individual who has Fatimatu Zahra salamullahi alayha in his heart is killed, what does he say? There was a Sayyid once mentioning from Pakistan, all over the world, Iraq, Pakistan, all of these places. I don't need to tell you, you know these things, every single week. He had said that there were certain Shia people who had, their families had been affected. So Sunni Muslims had come and said, what's the story? Every time 50 of you are killed, you rise up again. Every time 30 of you are killed, you still have faith. You are still strong in your belief. He said, we have one thing. We have one thing that we have every time, for example, a son is killed from this family, a daughter is killed from this family. We have one thing which gives us strength. What? He said, that one thing is called Hoseine ibn Ali. That when they are shooting the bullets, what do they say? They say, Labbaik ya Hoseine. They say, Ya Fatima al-Zahra. When they are being killed, they say, Ya Litharat al-Hoseine. Because they know that yes, when you increase the oppression in this world, this is doing nothing but bringing the advent of the Holy Imam closer. Amir al-Mu'mineen says, when you see this sign, know that straight after this, my son Sahib al-Asr will reappear. 7 things, you have heard the 7 things. A very strong relationship between Fatima al-Zahra and Imam Mahdi. That Imam Mahdi salamullah alayhi, he tells some of his followers in a story, I don't want to mention it right now, he says, your actions directly hurt the heart of Fatima al-Zahra. If you are acting in a way that goes against us, it is my grandmother who is affected by this. And I will be the one to avenge the death of my grandmother, to avenge the death of Muhsin. The direct link. That we are waiting for this avenging of the death of Fatima al-Zahra. We are waiting for this. The direct link to Fatima al-Zahra is who? Is none other than Sahib al-Asr wa Zaman. And sometimes people will think, how big, how can we change anything? You have just spoken about governments who are taxing people, and you have spoken about big people killing many people in the world. How can we do anything? One example I'll give you. There was a sheikh in Tehran mentioning in his gatherings about Sahib al-Asr wa Zaman. He gave a beautiful example. He said, Nabi Dawood salamullah alayhi was passing by the desert. Nabi Dawood is that prophet who is able to talk to who? To insects, to animals, to birds, to these things. He said, I saw an ant. It was picking up sand from one group and taking it to another site of the desert. So one piece of sand it would take from one mold to another. Return back, take few pieces of sand, put it in the other, return back. Nabi Dawood says, what are you doing? He says, I have been ordered by my beloved that until you do not take all of the sand from this place and put it into this other pile, I will not marry you, I will not be with you, I will not accept you. So I'm doing this. Nabi Dawood says, you are one small ant. Have you seen how many grains of sand there are? Your whole life will pass by, you will die doing this. He says, yes, I realize I will die doing this, but I will have happiness and contentment that I have died serving my beloved. The Shaykh in Tehran, he says, in the same way, do not think I cannot help Sahib al-Asr wa Zaman. I will die before Sahib al-Asr wa Zaman comes. It should be every single moment I work for the madhloom son of Zahra to come quicker, and if I die in this way, I have died in the way of my beloved. When people look at their lives and they think, where will I be in 20 years? I ask myself this as well. When we plan about our future, do we ever think Imam Mahdi is in this plan of mine? Think about it. When you think, where will I be in 20 years? Does Imam Mahdi come into my mind? How many times do I remember that madhloom son of Zahra? You know why he is madhloom? You know why he is oppressed? Because he says, I call out every single one of you at least 100 times a day. Why do you not answer to this call of mine? Imam Mahdi says, I call out to you at least 100 times a day. Shabbar, where are you? Where are you? Why do you not respond to me? And you are heedless in this way. Fatima al-Zahra salamullahi alayha. The oppression on Fatima al-Zahra will only be avenged when he comes. And I'm the reason why this is being delayed. I'm one of the reasons why this is being delayed. The tragedy of Fatima al-Zahra hurts the heart of Imam Mahdi. But what also hurts the heart of Imam Mahdi is that when someone wants to cry, it is better for the heart that they are able to cry with those individuals who share the pain. We all, alhamdulillah, are sharing this pain. Imam Mahdi wants to cry with me and you. But we have told Imam Mahdi, you cry alone. We will cry in our majlis. He wants to cry with us. He wants to cry with other believers. But we have pushed him away with our character. And he is waiting to avenge this death. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa al Muhammad. What do we recite recite in Dua al-Nudba every week. Please, those that have not recited Dua al-Nudba, at least once in a month recite part of Dua al-Nudba. Dua al-Nudba is the greatest way, or one of the greatest ways you can gain connection with Sahib al-Asri wal Zaman. We say, Aina sababu al-muttasilu bayna al-ardi wal-sama. Where is that individual that connects the heavens to the earth? Then we say, أين الطالب بظهور الأنبياء وأبناء الأنبياء. Then we say, أين الطالب بدم المقتول بكربلاء. Where is that son of Zahra which will avenge the death of Abu Abdullah Al-Hoseine? Where is the son of Zahra that will avenge the death of the 6-month-old of Abu Abdullah? A poet says that Zahra will say when Imam Mehdi reappears, what will she say? Zahra will say, Hussein has said to Mahdi, give my Aliyun al-Asghar back to me. I will say to Mahdi, give my Muhsin back to me. They say there was a person reciting the Masahib of Sayyidah Fatimah al-Zahra. When he went to sleep, he was reciting the Masahib of Imam Hassan. When he went to sleep, he says, I saw Imam Hassan in my dream. Imam Hassan says, Ya Shaykh, you recited this majlis for me, but why did you not recite my true Masahib? The Shaykh says, Ya Imam, I recited that you were given poison by your wife Ju'da. And I recited that the poison was such that the liver came out from your mouth. And I recited that your coffin came out and you were not allowed to be buried next to your father Rasulullah. And I recited that your coffin was covered in a rose. Imam Hassan says, Ya Shaykh, no, this is not my true Masahib. Tell them that my true Masahib from now on, Ya Shaykh. The Shaykh says, what is the true Masahib? Imam Hassan says, when I was very young, there was a certain street in Medina and a certain house in Medina and a certain door in Medina. I was there watching. My mother Zahra was behind the door and they began to push the door on my mother Fatima. Imam Hassan says even Hussein did not see what I saw on that day because I was standing next to her. I didn't know what should I do. When they dragged Ali ibn Abi Talib out of the house, I thought, do I go with my father Ali or do I stay with my mother Fatima to Zahra? He says, Ya Shaykh, I saw them push the door, and the worst thing for Imam Hassan, what was the worst thing for Hassan al-Mujtaba? He said, I heard the screams of my mother Fatima to Zahra saying, Wa Muhammadan, Wa Muhammadan, Wa Muhammadan. They say there was one of the Maraji of Najaf al-Ashraf, one of the Maraji, listen to the Masahib of Zahra, one of the Maraji of Najaf al-Ashraf, he says he was asked, I have heard, the Marja of Taqleed was asked, I have heard that the ribs of Zahra were broken to such an extent that she was unable to sleep on her side. Listen to what the Marja says. The Marja says, no, this is not true. She was not able to sleep on her side. She was not even able to sleep on her back. And she would say, Ya Abul Hassan, Ya Aba al-Hasan. Every time I breathe, I feel pain in my body. They say Fatima to Zahra, one day after the incident of the door, one day she goes to the grave of her father. She puts both of her hands on the grave of her father. She says, Ya Abata, oh my father, when they burned the door, I did not complain to you. When they pushed the door on my body, I did not complain to you. When Muhsin left this world, I did not complain to you. When they took Fadak away from us, I did not complain to you. But oh my father, Ya Rasulullah, today I have come to complain. What? I have come to complain that they put the neck on the rope of Ali ibn Abi Talib and they dragged Ali out of the house. Oh my father, I want to do dua against these individuals. They say Amir al-Mu'mineen was away from the grave. Suddenly Amir al-Mu'mineen says, Salman, go to the grave of Rasulullah and tell Zahra, stop praying against these individuals. He says, why? He says, I can see that Masjid al-Nabawi is being raised. If Zahra carries on doing this dua, Allah will send adab on these individuals. Salman says, I went to the grave, I saw Zahra was there crying, lamenting. Salman says, Ali has said, Ya Zahra, Ya bint Rasulullah. Salman says, Ali has said, Zahra, do not complain to Rasulullah, for Qiyamah will come on this earth. They say Zahra returns back. When Zahra returns back and she remembers what they did in Fadak and how she had to go into the masjid in front of these individuals, Zahra said, I had tears in my eyes. I looked for a certain individual. Who? Did she look for Hoseine? No. Did she look for Hassan? No. Did she look for any individual? No. She says, I looked for my daughter Zainab al-Kubra. I said, Ya Zainab, today I have gone into the palace to complain for Fadak. But Zainab, do you not know you will also go into the palace? But oh Zainab, when I went, my hands were not in chains, but your hands will be in chains. How will you deal with it? Zainab says, I will be patient. Zahra says, but do not worry, I will be there with you. Allah la'natullah ala al-qawm al-zalimin wa saya'lamu alladhina zalamu ayyamun qalbi yanqalibun.